Boa tarde a todos. Acho que essa é pelos meus cálculos, é o terceiro painel, já no segundo dia. Chegamos ao quarto painel, desculpa, já chegamos quase no final do Ethanol Summit. E eu tenho a honra de moderar esse painel com vários amigos aqui. Eu vou tentar falar o mínimo possível. Para mim é uma honra estar aqui. Primeiro, que acho que é a primeira vez que eles deixam eu falar no Summit dessa vez agora. A última vez que eu estive no Summit, 2 anos passado, eu estava moderando a palestra, participando da palestra do Bill Clinton. Então, Guilherme, Fernando, Jim e Charles, obviamente precisa de vocês 4 para representam o poder do Bill Clinton. Sobrou isso para mim. Mas eu queria dar as bem-vindas. Nós vamos ter 2 vídeos de introdução, mas só algumas coisas, deveres de casa, para vocês entenderem. As palestras vão ser, em sua grande maioria, acho que em inglês, mas eu sei que o Guilherme está tentando praticar a língua portuguesa e por isso vai falar em português. Mas lembra que temos fones de ouvidos para tradução simultânea. Não esquecer de devolver os fones de ouvidos. Eu acho que eles não são tão populares lá fora, mas, por favor, devolvam eles. Se alguém quiser fazer pergunta, obviamente a gente quer um bom debate, vamos tentar deixar bastante tempo para o debate. A gente tem fichas aí. Eu estou vendo que a sala está um pouco menor do que antes, então, nas sessões anteriores, então a gente pode até usar o microfone à medida que necessário. O pessoal da organização está pedindo para lembrar de preencher a pesquisa de avaliação. Obviamente, você vai dizer que o painel da aviação foi o melhor painel do Summit, por favor. O Fernando aqui tem o cachê, ele pode pagar na hora. E a última coisa é que as palestras estão sendo transmitidas pela internet, então deixa só eu falando bobeira, vocês, por favor, não falem nada bobo. Vamos, por favor, começar com os 2 vídeos, e aí o próximo eu apresento as pessoas que vão falar. Luzes, por favor, só um pouquinho. A ordem que a gente vai fazer a apresentação não é exatamente como está no programa, e eu vou deixar cada uma pessoa já entrar logo seguida. A primeira pessoa a falar vai ser o Charles Schlumberger, e ele pode dizer como você gostaria de pronunciar o sobrenome dele, que tem várias versões, que é do Banco Mundial. Depois o O Guilherme Freire, da EMBRAER, vai fazer sua apresentação. O Jim Kinder, da BOEING, vai fazer a sua apresentação como terceiro. E a surpresa é o Fernando Garcia, da AMYRIS, que está vindo aqui para falar para a gente, porque o David Neilman, aparentemente, tem um outro compromisso. E o Dr. Osiris Silva, que eu saiba, ainda não chegou. Então, vai ser nessa ordem. Charles, por favor, the floor is yours.
Obrigado y buen día. Es un gran placer para mí estar aquí hoy. Mas tengo un problema, soy suizo. Casada con un guatemalteco, falo español en mi casa, mas aquí es un portuñol que no es perfecto. Entonces, como un suizo que quiere hablar un idioma perfectamente, voy a hablar en inglés, mas si después quieren hablar portuñol conmigo, bienvenidos. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I'm very glad to be here to talk about my passion, aviation, and about a very, very important theme, and that is energy, oil, biofuel. I will give you a very quick state of the industry, where we are today. I talk about challenges. I talk about what the industry is facing. I'm also talking about biofuels. Just quickly, because I have some speakers after me which are much deeper in the material, and then I give you just a very short overview of what the World Bank actually is doing, but really very short. Okay, the industry's trends, where are we today? You see two lines here. The blue line is the passenger traffic in terms of growth in percentage, and the red line is cargo. You see we had a problem, a world economic crisis in 2008, and we had a recovery. Interesting is cargo went down much more than passengers, then overcompensated, and now goes down again to very little growth. We estimate about 2-3% growth in an average, the different forecasts, but the industry seems to have recovered. What triggered this? Well, it was triggered by the economic crisis. The economic crisis was triggered by rising fuel costs, which in my eyes, it's my own interpretation, triggered then the subprime crisis in the United States, the banking sector, and a lot of people stopped traveling. In many airlines, 60% of passengers are visiting friends and relatives VFR. Those people, they don't go to a wedding transatlantic if they are afraid losing their jobs. This was a big impact. Number two, the industry that did not refill their stocks. Now, the International Air Transportation Association sees for the next 5 years or the next 4 years still substantial growth, basically from today 2.5 billion passengers. That's usually 5 billion people traveling on a round-trip ticket, from 2.5 to 3.3 billion in the next 3 or 4 years. We see that a lot of traffic growth is domestic. Countries like Brazil, China, the United States less, have still a great potential in developing their markets. But basically the industry, and you will hear that from aircraft manufacturers, they see growth in aviation. We will travel more by airplane. A lot of people actually travel still for the first time and are repeat travelers. Now, the bad news is that the most difficult business I, as a banker, know is aviation. In fact, I don't know no airline that makes money on the long run, and there are exceptions that confirm the rule. And we always dream of exceptions. Southwest is the exception. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the United States airline industry. If you invested in all airlines after World War II, the profitability resulted in a loss of about $5 to $8 billion. In the last 10 years, it's $58 billion loss, airline business. And there are exceptions, I agree. But on the long run, airlines lose money. Now, there are markets where it's different, but that's the golden rule for commercial banker. Now, what is concerning when you look at an investment in an airline, and I'm coming back then why that is an issue, is something called the weighted average cost of capital. How expensive is it for an airline to raise capital from shareholders? That must be less than the return on capital. If you are a shareholder and you invest in a business, you want to get more back. It is consistently 2 to 3% below the cost of capital. The IATA's investigation between 93 up till next year. We see here during the crisis, it really was a big spread. So we have, in fact, the business airlines which are struggling with profitability, which count on shareholders that anyway invest, or governments that give subsidies, or rich people that want to have their own private airline, but they produce beer where they make really money. But that is something most people in aviation forget. The most important element are the airlines. Why? Look at the industry structure. That is profitability, investor return in $1 billion. IATA study from 1996 to 2004. You see manufacturers of airplanes, they make money. They are here today. The lessors, they make money. Then the airports, the big one make money, the small one not. Services, depends. Airlines, $12 billion loss. Then we have reservation systems make money. Travel agents, freight forwarders. Airlines are losing money as a business. Now, let's talk about why we are really here. We are talking about the oil price. I'm very concerned as an aviator on the oil price. You see here the correlation between the jet fuel price and the crude oil price in Brent. And we see the spike of 2008. And everybody said that was speculation. It was not. I researched, and there's a paper available on the internet on the World Bank where I outlined speculation is about 10% of the excess price. It was about $15 when it was $148 in July of 2008. Yes, it then collapsed, and we are back up. We are again getting close to the danger zone. What does that mean for the airlines? Here is an interesting fact. The 1st of April, when I did that slide, the price of oil rose 45% in 1 year. This has an impact on airline operation worldwide of $58 billion. Airlines projected in 2010 to finally have a profitable year. They made $9 to $10 billion profit before tax. Now, if the price would stay so high and they wouldn't be hedged, they would have to pay $53 billion more. That would result in $40 billion loss. The industry is not so negative. They are hedging, which means they insure the price, but this is very concerning. 40% of airplane operation today is the oil price. And the question is, will we go up again? Interesting is that the fare of one-way fare correlates exactly with the jet price. Sometimes you get, increases in tickets, but the airline need to compensate. And it's not just what the engine burns. It's everything around an aircraft. Everything of operating costs goes up. It pushes really inflation, if you want. So the industry is vulnerable because they're losing money, traditionally. And at the same moment, they are extremely vulnerable to raising costs of oil price. Now, what is the future of oil demand? That's, of course, a difficult question, but I got here an interesting slide from Specialist consultants which show that they see until 2030 an increase from today roughly 86 million barrels a day to about over 100 million barrels a day. We are today, since 5 years, actually since 7 years,